Hello fellow tankers, this is Dauntless, and today I'm going to be playing in my favorite Tier 8 tank in the game, the British Tier 8 tank destroyer, the Charioteer. This vehicle is incredible, and I feel like it's a shame that not a lot of players actually own or play this tank because it leads up to such a horrible Tier 10 tank. But Wargaming have recently announced that they are buffing both the Tier 7, the Tier 9, and the Tier 10 of this line, and so if you start grinding this vehicle now, by the time they patch the Tier 9 and the Tier 10, they might be worth your time. And so for those of you that don't own this and like what you see, I would highly recommend start grinding this line. The Achilles is a lot of fun, Tier 7 and the Tier 8 also a lot of fun. So if you like what you see, I would highly recommend picking it up. And the reason I like this tank so much, and there are actually two reasons. One, you can play it like a tank destroyer. Two, you can play it like a medium tank, and a lot of the time you can actually play it as both, and this is incredible flexibility. It's got the speed of a medium tank, allowing you to relocate as quickly as you can, and it's got a turret like a medium tank, allowing you to shoot tanks in the side without having to turn your entire vehicle, but it also has the gun of a tank destroyer, having 268 penetration on its standard rounds. Now in comparison, the Tier 10 British not tank destroyer, medium tank, the Centurion Action X, has the same exact gun as this, basically, other than the rate of fire and accuracy, whatnot, but the penetration is exactly the same. Having that on a tank that basically plays like a medium tank at Tier 8 is incredibly overpowered in my opinion, and this thing is my pride and joy. It does have pretty bad gun depression at -6, I think, but if you can look past that, and the aim time, and the gun bloom, and the slow turret traverse, everything else about this tank is incredible, and you'll probably notice when I'm showing you this replay how amazing it actually is. So the map today is Krakow, if that's how you pronounce it, and there are only 13 vehicles per side, which again is neither here nor there. There's a little bit less meat to shoot, and generally smaller maps like this that have only 13 per side tend to end quicker. Both teams are relatively competent. We have 3 blue players, while they have, 1 blue player, 1 purple player, but again, their blue and purples are lower tier, so I'm not too concerned about them. They have a 183, which will most likely be in this F5 area. Maybe alternatively, he might be sitting around this area here, but most likely he's going to be somewhere in the city, making the city very, very difficult for me to play, because whether he's shooting Hesh or AP, he's going to one-shot me. So I'm going to try to avoid that area the best I can, and I will try to do the best to get out damage. This tank is relatively fast, and so you can abuse the fact that you can really relocate quickly, and a lot of players push to one flank, stay there until they either are dead or are able to push, and that's really not the way you want to be playing this kind of vehicle. Medium tanks, even though this is a tank destroyer, are flexible enough to where you get into a position, shoot, and then relocate. Now, again, the reason why this tank is so fun is because you can do both. You're sitting in a position that you might not be able to sit in as a medium tank and snipe because the gun is not as effective. Put shots into the front of heavy tanks and penetrate them, and when you're exposed or you realize it's time to fall back or relocate, you can easily do so with the speed of the medium tank, but again have the sniping capabilities of a tank destroyer. So anyway, that is enough about this vehicle. We will get the game started. So I like to push down to the south side, usually around what is that? Right around F7. I guess maybe it's more like E8. Basically somewhere in that area, and you can sometimes, depending on what your team lights, you can push around and get spots and get some shots. Early damage is always good. Alternatively, you could push up to the A5 area in those houses, but I generally don't have that much luck until a few minutes into the game when the enemy has actually pushed around the C2 corner, and again, that doesn't always happen. So I'm able to put a nice shot into the M4A1 and get a little bit of assist damage in the process. Now, a lot of enemy vehicles haven't been lit yet, and I know I'm probably lit, so I don't want to push out too aggressively here. I wait till 10 seconds is up after I fire, and then I re-expose myself, but getting shot by a E4 or a Jagdtiger here would be very, very unfortunate, especially since we're just a minute into the game. So I'm peeking, trying to get a shot, but I realized very quickly that it's just not worth my time because I don't want to take a shot because I don't know if I'm lit or not. Having no sixth sense is definitely a struggle, especially in a paper vehicle like this. So I peek around this corner hoping to get a shot into one of these vehicles. I realized that the M103 and the WT are sitting right around this area. And again, there are a few vehicles like the T-34, the Tiger II, that have not been lit yet. Actually, right when I said that the Tiger II gets lit. But again, I need to keep my gun singing, and sitting in a position like that is just going to be completely worth my wasting my time. I also don't want to push in because I could theoretically spot something there and just get myself completely wrecked before I can even get out. So look at that gun though, right through the top plate of the Tiger II without any problem whatsoever, even though he was perfectly angled. And that's what this kind of gun can do. Basically, again, you're in a tier 10 medium tank and are able to shoot tier 8 heavy tanks like they're nothing. I wait a little bit, hoping to discourage the Tiger, hoping that he'll maybe aim towards the grill a little bit. No such luck. He's going to turn his gun right towards me, but I don't give him much of an opportunity to shoot, and I'm able to put a nice clean shot into the top plate again, putting him down to 87 health. I reload very quickly, and that was a bad shot on my part. I should have just centered it right on the top of his tank, but I aimed a little bit to the right for some reason, and this gun isn't super accurate, especially if I don't aim all the way, and so I was not able to finish him off, but I was able to reload quickly enough and finish him off before the grill did. So I guess it didn't really matter either way, other than the fact that I wasted a few seconds on finishing off that Tiger. Now the Batchat 25 ton gets lit on the A line, and he's pushing around. I realize that he is, and so I quickly switch over to my Hesh shells. The Hesh shells on this thing have 210 penetration and boast 480 alpha damage instead of 390. So you get another 90 damage, which is awesome, with just a little bit lower pen. Now obviously Hesh doesn't do anything against spaced armor or tracks, and it's just going to splash them instead. But look at that, just a completely average roll, but I'm able to do a solid almost 500 damage to that Batchat, having that Hesh. Now he's sitting there turned sideways toward me, making it very, I guess, improbable that my Hesh shells are going to be able to penetrate the side because I'm probably going to connect with his tracks. So I switch over to my AP rounds, and it's a good thing I do because this T-34 gets lit, and he gives me his side. Nice high roll right there to the side. I believe the ammo rack of the T-34 is right around that area, and that's pretty much why I always try to aim right underneath the turret. So this is a mistake I made here, and I'll show you exactly why. This tank has pretty bad gun depression, and I'm driving straight up onto a hill, and he's looking right at me. Normally I would drive back and back off, but I guess the fact that, you know, I really want to clean this side up, I'm being kind of stubborn. Realistically, I should have either driven out forward here or sideways, but I realized that I'm already committed. I might as well make the shot because he's going to shoot me regardless. If I just tried to back off here, he's probably going to get the shot off anyway, and then if I peek back out, he's going to back off and be gone. And even if I do escape without taking a shot, in order to re-peek, he's going to be pre-aimed there, and so that's why I realized I have enough to take a hit. I'm going to engage him, and I'm going to take the shot. So I aim as long as I need to get the shot in. Unfortunately, my shot rolled low at only 334 or 343, but he rolled low as well at 339. So I guess it was an even trade, and our E100 was able to finish him off. Now, it's a good thing that I realized what was going on and pushed back in that direction, because the Batchat, which was pushing over here, as well as that T-34, could have easily cleaned up this guy. And once you get a light tank or a medium tank up into this area here, they take out our arty, they start shooting our guys from behind, you lose games really easily like that. And so that's why I realized the need to push over that way, and it's a good thing I did. I was able to get quite a bit of damage there, and I was able to successfully defend that flank. Now in this situation, you might think, okay, we're winning easily, what should I do? Well, the last three vehicles that were spotted in this area were all kind of clustered here. If they're able to push through here and get into this opening here, it can actually be extremely difficult to dig them out because they have so many opportunities to hide behind buildings, and you know, by the time our guys push around, they could have some of their vehicles flank us, and it's just not a good situation to have anything push up into this area or this area here. And because of that, I'm going to push around and try to cut them off before they can get into that position. Now, that's a good tip to remember too if you're ever pushing on this map from the opposing side. But this is a great little spot because you don't want them to be here. You're going to try to confine them to this box here. And now this is a great tactic because they have to expose so much of their vehicle to come through this area that they're going to have a very, they're going to take a lot of damage trying to contest you while you can peek around these rocks and give them a very difficult time. And if they want to kill you, they're going to have to really push all the way through to come get you. And if not, they're going to just, the trading is not going to be well, and you can actually have them pinned down here for quite a long time and have your allies protect you. So I do have a Hesh shell loaded here, and you can see how effective they are. 210 pen has no problem going through the side of an M103. Fortunately, I did not connect with the tracks, but you know, that didn't feel very good for him. The WT gives me a nice shot into the side of his turret. It probably messed up his tank a little bit. Those Hesh shells do a lot of splash damage, kills crew members, modules, you name it. But yeah, so right now our team is kind of just preoccupied killing this E4 and the EMOL, and I'm basically running solo against this M103 and this WT. I get a clean shot into the commander's hatch of that M103. I don't know if he was trying to shoot me back there or not, but I was just that much quicker. I still have one Hesh shell left. This guy comes around the corner. I put one right into his gun. I was really trying to disable his gun right there because sometimes you can do that or knock out his ammo rack. And you know, right here, I think I did probably hurt a crew member like the loader or hurt his ammo rack because he should have a quicker reload than me, I think anyway. But anyway, I'm able to peek around this corner and finish him off and net myself 4,800 damage, which is pretty great for a tier 8 tank, especially in a non-campy game. You know, you would think a tier 8 tank destroyer could easily get that much damage, but usually those are more open maps where you can do a lot of sniping. I did pretty much no sniping on this game. It was very, very dynamic, pushing around, taking advantage of what I could. And, you know, I was right there able to take out 2 tier 9 vehicles in a tier 8 tank quite easily. And ultimately, you know, I'm not going to say that it was my call that won us the game right there, but if I wasn't here and I had pushed around the side and those 2 vehicles that were quite healthy before I got a hold of him were able to kill our Artie and start capping or something, it could have ended very differently because, you know, our E100 and our T32 were pretty busy trying to finish off that E4 and that EMOL, and depending on how it could have gone down, you know, my almost 5k damage I think had a pretty positive impact on this game. And I just want to show you guys because the Charioteer is incredible. You can do these kind of games all the time. The gun is just so amazing because you can just penetrate anything, and I really think you guys would enjoy this tank if you ever purchased it. So anyway guys, thanks for watching this replay. If you liked it, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up down below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.